Good afternoon, YouTube. JS here in Louisiana once again, and this time I'm coming to you with some pretty high-speed, low-drag weapons from World War I. So, before you ask the question, why am I wearing this funny metal hat on my head, let me also show this off to you. This is a 1916 German infantry helmet, and this one actually is a reproduction. It's not real, but at the same time, it still looks and has the character of an original, with the paint job, the horsehair lining, and the chin strap. So, that being said, I would like to show off to you and present the first pistol in this little collection, and again, peoples, try not to drool too hard. This is the 1916 artillery Luger with the 32 round 9mm snail drum and the buttstock. The front sight is all the way up front, and mind you, that's a longer barrel in comparison to, say, another Luger, which is made in the exact same year. So, this right here is a stormtrooper pistol, pretty much. And yes, apparently we've got stormtroopers aplenty so far. So, this right here is a 32 round detachable magazine, snail drum magazine. Now the cool thing is that this is also the same magazine that was used on the MP-18, the first actual true submachine gun. Now this is chambered in 9mm and 9mm Luger. It's a little stiff, so I'm trying to drop the toggle bolt here. There we go. Sorry. Alright. It's a little stiff, but if you look here, it's got the buttstock, which if you flip this lever here on the side, it slides right out, and bam, now it's a pistol again. In which case, you take the standard issue magazine, and there you go. Now, also, here's the carrier for the snail drum, and also a kind of a shoulder kind of a rig for 2 extra magazines for your pistol here. Now, the holster for this thing would be, where is it? This darkened beauty right here. So, as you can see, it's nice and long, and the holster itself comes with a cleaning rod, which comes right here on the side of the holster. So stow that in there, close this up, and there you go. That would be the artillery Luger in the pre-stormtrooper form. Now let's do that again from reverse. Pulling this thing together, and you're going to tell yourself, we're going to take that French troop. Take your snail drum, lock and load as you would, take your buttstock, and it rotates in. It's really kind of cute, actually. In fact, you know, you need to do that before, sorry. You need to do that before you put the magazine in, because if you look right here, it rotates in just ever so slightly. And kind of wiggle it a bit. There we go. Wiggle it to get it into place. And then you're good to go. Now, the cyclic rate on this thing is as fast as you can squeeze the trigger, but think of it this way, in 1917, 1918 for that matter, when you've got weapons like the the French Show, the American BAR, the British Lewis, so on and so forth, and you've got the Germans with relatively still using the same kind of equipment that they really didn't advent too much on their small arms. Yeah, they came out with the MP-18 submachine gun as a response to trench warfare, and that was the first true submachine gun. This, on the other hand, with the buttstock on it, gives that kind of semi-auto submachine gun kind of vibe to it. So imagine you're going through a trench, it's narrow, and all of a sudden pop pop, and you're going through, oh, another Frenchman, pop pop, pop pop, pop pop, and you just keep going down the line until you're either empty or whatever. So there's that. That's the 1916 artillery Luger in the Sturmtruppen configuration. So moving on. Next is the C96 Mauser, one of my all-time favorite pistols. And again, this is also a 9mm. The original cartridge would have been in 7.63 by 25. Now this has been rechambered and reblued and made nicey, and it's absolutely beautiful. But it comes also with Likewise, a buttstock. The Germans were kind of big on buttstocks, and this one actually is the buttstock which also constitutes as the holster, as you can see. But stripper clip fed, and it's the same basic principle, 10 rounds. And unfortunately, I got big hands, so I have to kind of keep my hand a bit low. But if you're, say, again, you're going through a trench, bam, 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 and there you go. You're just dropping Frenchmen as you go. And let me show you the holster here. And again, it's just a little lever you pull off and it slides right out. The pistol will fit inside this wooden shoulder stock as the holster. It closes up like that. And then it would go into a leather harness, which again will go on your belt. So, that is the C96. And again, my personal favorite of the First World War pistols. So, moving on. Let's put this one back together. Moving on. We come to something a little smaller, but yet at the same time no less badass. The good old-fashioned P08 Lugers. And here are two of them. This one was made in 1916 at the Earhart factory. In fact, there was a video on my channel earlier on of this pistol being fired. So, this is a golden boy right here. And this one is made in 1916. Sorry, 1911. And this one's, again, if you look at it, it's a little bit on the rough side, but you know what? A little roughness doesn't hurt anyone. It's got character to it. And it's still just as functional as it was 100 plus years ago, 110 years ago. Breaks like glass. And if you can see here, the barrel is significantly shorter, and in fact, I'll compare the two, the artillery Luger to this one, side by side. You look at them, this is your tip. This is what you would expect your standard infantry pistol. This goes to, again, a stormtrooper or an artillery officer. So, this pistol right here, again, highly coveted, highly prized by pretty much any Allied soldier that can get their hands on in the Second World War, and First for that matter. Now, speaking of World War II, I know it's a little out there and a little much, but I might as well show it off. The Walther P38. And this is a really cool pistol in the fact it's an 8-round. I forgot to mention, the artillery Luger, Lugers in general have normally an 8-round magazine. And the C96 has a 10-round stripper clip. Well, anyway, this is, again, an 8-round magazine. And this is a really, really cool pistol. This was actually a pinnacle of the pistol design at the time. But look at this here. It has an auto decocking feature. Now, if you hit the safety, that's just the safety, which right here, pull it down, you can still put it, drop the hammer and put it on a closed live round. Now you can't see it, but right there, that little hole, a little rod will stick out, and that'll indicate that you have a round in the chamber. And again, it functions just like any single action, double action. Actually, it's a double action, double single pistol, which apparently was a feature that they requested because of, let's say you pull the trigger and it doesn't go off, you can pull it again and it might go off. But so that's the Walther P38. You got a 9mm with the black bake-like grips on it. The magazine release is down here on the bottom, and it's this little switch typical of European design. Pops out right there. So, and again, this is really, really cool. But mind you, that's a little outdated for the helmet here. So, I happen to have here holsters as well. This is the holster for the Luger pistol. And this is World War I, mind you, so this has a shoulder holster, the whole 9 yards, and it has not one but 2 spare pockets. I'll show you. 1 and 2 spare pockets for extra magazines. And it buckles down here. You put this on over your shoulder, and there you go. Now the Walther, again, has a hip holster, big flap hip holster with a spare magazine pocket right there. And as you can see, fits in there nicely. And again, let's break down the artillery Luger once more and show y'all how it's done. So, you pop out the magazine, which has its own holster, by the way. Roll out the stock. Take your pistol. There you go. Now the snail holster is just as cool because you put this thing in there and you basically it folds right inside. You can see why it's called the snail holster. And this would go on your would hang on your belt. So, anyways, people, I hope y'all enjoyed my my good German pistols, and I hope y'all enjoy and keep it up. And we look forward to hearing from you again. As always, guten Abend and have a nice day.